So,
So,
how are you?
excited about season 2.
Season 2.
Season 2.
Season 2.
Season 2. PLP. Season 2.
Yeah, we are officially in season 2.
Yes. Is it arbitrary because we decide?
Yes, absolutely.
Shut up.
I had mentioned in season 1 that season 1 was going to be 20 episodes. It wound up being 21.
Bonus.
What the fuck ever.
Bonus.
Yeah.
Yes, but season 2 is going to be a little different, right? Okay, so I have another podcast, the Shadow Spark podcast,
yes.
For my publishing house. We are going to be moving into season 3 in that one soon, and also changing things up. So, but the point is, changing things up, like changing seasons, gives us an opportunity to revisit what we liked in season 1, what we didn't, what we want to change up, to keep it fresh, not just for the listeners, but for us too.
Yeah,
so,
season 1 was more of it was an experiment.
That was trying shit out.
Yeah, we wanted to start a podcast. Nobody starts a podcast and immediately is good at podcasting. Podcasts are something that take time to develop.
Just like any skill.
You got to get comfortable on the microphone.
Right.
And that's exactly what season 1 was.
Yeah.
Doing season 1, we knew we wanted to stick with pop culture stuff. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's right in the theme
it's kind
song.
of casting a wide net to find your niche, right?
Yeah.
Kind of focus in over time on what we really want this to be.
But what I think we did wrong.
I don't know if that's the way you want to start. What we're changing for season 2.
I think what we did wrong was we're overanalyzing these films. First of all, we are going.
It's exhausting.
We are going scene by scene by scene in these films and just describing the fucking movie.
Well,
what is the point to that?
Well, and it takes a lot of the enjoyment out for me because I'm the one writing the notes, at least in the last several episodes.
Yeah.
So I miss
which
so
isn't
much.
Fun. You miss things in the movie, then I have to remember them, which I'm not good at doing.
Yes, and then you and Chucky will be like, and this, and I'm like, no, because I wrote it down.
Right.
And then, and then I feel like a bitch, and then you're like, oh, and then, so anyway.
Well, and then once we talked about this for 4 hours, then we got to sit in the editing chair for 2.5, 3 hours to edit this thing down to something that's 2.5 hours long.
Yes.
We're done.
Boo!
We are done
Quit
doing
living
that.
in the past. This is season 2, all right? It's fresh. It's happening.
Oh, yeah,
it's quicker. It's snappy.
Look, season 2 is ready to fuck, okay?
Oh, yeah.
So basically, we're gonna change the format here. We're no longer gonna go step by step, be scene by scene. This is gonna be more of an off-the-cuff thing.
Yeah.
Which is what it should have been in the first place.
Well, but again, you want to figure out what you want. We listen to a lot of different kinds of podcasts, right?
Right.
So, and one thing about making your own podcast is taking bits that you like from everything else and trying to make it your own while bringing your own flavor and own thing to it as well.
Yeah.
Right. So that was us trying stuff out. And I think we've kind of narrowed in a little bit more on what we actually want this to be. Not as long, not as pedantic.
Right. So the 2.5, 3 hour episodes, we're done with that.
In theory.
Yes. Unless it just happens to turn out that way. But our plan and our goal here is to keep these things closer to an hour, hour and a half.
Yes.
Somewhere in that sweet spot, because it's not fun to sit in the editing chair that long, editing something after you just had the conversation, and it doesn't work out.
Also, from a listener's perspective, unless you're my brother, you probably don't have hours upon hours to listen to a single podcast, right? We want people to be able to listen on their commute to work or while they're cooking or, all the places that we listen to podcasts.
Sure.
So, do we really, especially today's subject, you really want to talk about this fucking movie for 3 hours?
But
I don't, but we will because we talk well together, especially when Chucky's here.
That's another problem with season 1 is we talk about these movies so long that these people could just go watch the movie and it would be a shorter experience.
Well, and I've had feedback that even after going scene by scene, people still get confused as to what is going on. So I am looking at season 1 as a learning exercise, right? We're not going to take them down because I don't think we should hide where I want people to.
No, not at all.
But this is a reset. This is a new chance. We've kind of focused on the kind of content we want to bring as well. Not only the length and the delivery, but also the subjects. And, season 2, we already know is going to be 21 episodes. again, because we did it for season 1, so why not? 20 plus 1. And since there's 3 of us, we've divided up. I've picked 7 topics. You've picked 7 topics. Chucky's picked 7 topics. And some of them will have all of us on there. Some of them
mix
won't.
them around.
Yeah.
And yeah.
But it really more often than not, we want to become the place that people come to for content that brings some kind of joy into your life. Now, does that mean positive content? No.
Not at all.
No. Dude.
Again, we're not ever going to do an Oscar winner. I just don't see a point in doing that.
I want to do shit that makes me laugh. Whether it's because it's intentionally funny or not.
Yes. And for me, my picks are probably going to be those guilty pleasure movies from my childhood that are terrible. I know they're terrible.
But you still
the people making them knew they were terrible when they were making them. Yeah. When they were released, audiences went and saw it and knew it was terrible. No one likes these movies but me, apparently. And I want to talk about them.
Yeah, sure.
So
so if it's something you haven't heard of, we're not going to, completely go scene by scene. So go find it. We'll tell you where to find these movies. We'll give you some facts about the making of and, some little behind the scenes stuff. And then you do with it what you want. We'll give our impressions and that'll be that. Bing, bang, boom. Boom.
And with that, with season 2 starting, we've got a new theme song. And this one is...
Are you really doing it?
I haven't heard it yet.
Okay. Oh, and you haven't.
I haven't heard it. The audience hasn't heard it, but here it is.
Okay.
Tune in now and take a seat. Deadbeat Chad and Chucky Sleaze. We're just the guests we can't defeat. Pop culture served with ease. We're the pretty little podcast crew. Movie shows and gossip too. Every bi-weekly we bring the news. Catch up on fakes, here's the clue. Just the king of witty rants. Chucky's tales make us dance. Jess drops in with style so grand. We're the best across the land. We're the pretty little podcast crew. Movie shows and gossip too. Every bi-weekly we bring the news. Catch up on fakes, here's the clue.
Okay.
So...
you know what? Maybe everything from season 1 doesn't have to change.
That's what I was going to say. We don't have to do a complete redo.
Yeah.
Some things should stay, and Bullet Machine is absolutely one of them.
Yeah, let's get that taste out of our mouth.
Fix that. Rewind. Start over.
Show about pop culture stuff. We keep watching and connected, but it's never enough. Talking with our friends about our favorite things. TV shows and movies and some random swearing. Hey! This is the pretty, this is the little, this is the pretty little podcast.
Hello, all you pretty little people. This is the Pretty Little Podcast. I am your circus penis loving host, Debbie Chad. I love circus penis.
You do.
I cannot get enough circus penis. Give me all of the clown dick. I want it in me, on me, around me, 24/7.
You are really leaning into that.
Hey, you know what? I'm glad I put it out there. Because now I don't have to keep that bottled up anymore.
The circus penis.
And anyone who didn't listen to that episode is going to be very confused.
Yeah, well, don't even tell them where it's from. You get to go listen to season 1 and figure that shit out.
Yeah.
I'm just Jess.
Like, comment, subscribe. Let us know you found it.
That's me.
Yeah, with me is perpetual special guest, Jess.
And I'm changing it.
Yeah.
I'm just Jess.
Just Jess?
That's me.
Okay, you're no longer a perpetual special guest. You know, you've been on the show long enough now.
Since episode 2.
That I think we could probably just say
we can
you're
retire
just
that.
Jess.
I'm just Jess.
Okay.
That's me. Hi. Don't call me JJ.
So,
that's dumb. It just occurred to me.
Our season 2 kicker here is going to be Munchies.
Munchies.
Not to be confused with another movie called Munchie.
No.
Which is also about a little gremlin thing.
Yeah.
That was voiced by Dom DeLuise because
Oh,
there was never a bag of money that man didn't turn down.
Oh, see, I really just mainly know him from as Tiger from American Tail.
Yeah, he's done a lot of shit, but
Yeah.
very little of it's good.
No. This Munchies is a 1987 comedy horror film starring Harvey Korman, Charlie Stratton, and Nadine Van der Velde?
Yeah.
And Nadine Van der Velde. It's directed by Tina Hirsch, who was the film editor for Gremlins. So,
oh, that makes a lot of sense.
Yes. So the way this came about, Tina Hirsch had edited 3 films for Roger Corman, who is like the producer. Anybody who knows bad movies knows Roger Corman.
Yes,
okay?
absolutely.
She had edited 3 films for him in the 1970s, and in the mid 1980s, told him that she wanted to direct, and he wanted to make a Gremlins knockoff because they were profitable at the time.
Sure. Gremlins came out, 1984?
Yeah, and since Hirsch had edited that film, it seemed a good fit. Munchies was shot over 12 days, followed by 3 days of filming puppets and inserts.
This feels like a movie you could make in less than that.
Absolutely. You have Critters, you have Ghoulies,
Yep.
you have, once Gremlins came out, yeah, it was a whole bunch of wannabe. And this is one of them. This is one I had never heard of.
1985 to 1995 was that era of movie which all of my favorite bad movies came out in, but they all were doing the same thing, right? Where they took something that was wildly popular and they just parodied the shit out of it ad nauseum.
Well, yeah, this Munchies is Gremlins, but make it horny. Yeah. Like that is what this
But also, let's
me.
keep it PG.
Yeah, well, 80s PG.
Yeah, 80s
which
PG.
Which is very different from PG
Which means
now.
there are lots of people flipping each other off.
Yes.
There are lots of curse words.
Yeah.
There's a woman in a bathing suit that looks like it was painted on her.
Yeah.
Like,
another woman loses the top of her bathing suit. Yeah. You don't see the boobies.
This would at least be PG-13.
Just for the... Yeah, not for sexual
There's drinking,
content,
there's smoking, there's what are you talking about? There's wild teenage sex.
Performed by 2 people in their mid-20s at least.
Very much adults. Yes, this is another one of those movies where it's like my 34-year-old teenage son.
Right, yes, yes.
There are people in this movie that are clearly in their late 20s and 30s pretending to be teenagers.
Yeah, but are they even really pretending to be teenagers? Because this one's going to college and... Or like he's threatened with going to college, Paul, the main character.
Yeah, the main character. Okay, so
not Steve Gutenberg.
Right. The dynamic here is like our main character, Paul, he lives with his father. Mm-hmm. His father is like a Indiana Jones style archaeologist.
Yeah, weird, in like Argyle sweaters.
And he's going to Peru.
Yeah. Machu Picchu. This movie is so fucking disrespectful to Machu Picchu.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So he's going to Peru because he's trying to find proof of alien existence.
Through like the ancient civilizations. They make up their own. At least they didn't actually use Aztec, Inca. I mean, they weren't in Peru anyways. But they make up like a native ancient tribe type thing and gods and stuff. So that's something in this movie's favor that is honestly kind of surprising because back then they usually didn't bother. They just stole cultural stuff and twisted it.
So anyway, the father is now dragging his 34-year-old teenage son on his archaeology trips, who is bitching about it the whole time.
Constantly.
He even says the line like, what kind of life is this? All we do is just travel around the world and see exotic shit. Like, really? Yeah. You're fucking complaining about this? You don't have a job. You don't have shit to do in life. You want to be a stand-up comedian.
Yeah.
This is the best you're going to get out of life.
Yeah. No, plot twist. He gets everything he wants and more.
Of course. He's the main character.
Of course he is. Yeah, no, this is very much a dollar store horny Gremlins, but it's got a whole bunch of not people, right? Like, what I mean by that is actors in this movie remind you of someone like a more famous, more successful. Like I call him the not Steve Gutenberg.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, they're ripping off Gremlins. They might as well rip off Steve Gutenberg, right?
Sure, yeah. Melvis.
And there's elements of Police Academy in this for sure.
Not Carol Kane. Yeah,
with every cop in this town is fucking stupid.
He does we're an audio podcast, but he does the face super like swaggery up, but he's a fucking imbecile.
Yeah, this movie is definitely ripping off a lot of different, more popular movies at the time.
Yeah, and not doing it as well as any of them did. But I had fun watching it with you. It's not good. It is not a good movie. I don't always agree necessarily down the line with Rotten Tomatoes and IMDb, like the ratings and all of that, but this does have a 3.9 on IMDb and a 25% on Rotten Tomatoes.
I think that's extremely fair.
I think it's fair.
I agree with that 100%. This is one of those movies that it made its way into my VHS collection when I was very young. So I remember watching this quite a bit as a kid, but I didn't remember it being what it is. You know, after watching it as an adult, I'm like, this is a completely different movie than I remember. I remember so many different things happening in this film, the way that these creatures looked.
Well, yeah, like the guy on the cover has like this kick-ass mohawk and all of that.
Yeah, yeah. I was under the impression, like going into this, that I vividly remember these things being like little punk rock creatures that were a ripoff of every other little gremlin, ghoulie, whatever thing from the 80s.
See, and I didn't even watch Ghoulies. I watched Critters. I liked Critters.
Yeah.
They're like, hey. They look like, they've got the tiny little teeth. They remind me of Marlboros from Final Fantasy in a weird way. Anyways.
Yeah, and then the Ghoulies kind of remind me of the Goombas from the Super Mario Brothers.
For sure.
Yeah.
Hey, don't talk shit, okay? To this day, I didn't put that on my list. I was going to put that on my list. I like the Super Mario Brothers
Season
movie.
3, ladies and gentlemen, wait for it.
Come on, when Toad smiles, it's like one of my favorite things in the world. He's just like, yay! Anyways, stay on topic.
So yeah, we've got this this archaeologist man's son bitching about being dragged around the world.
Yeah.
In the opening scene, this is where they find the Munchie.
Yes,
right?
Arnold.
They
eventually name him Arnold.
Yeah, they wind up in a temple. Everything in this room is made of styrofoam, and you can tell.
It really looked like the Legends of the Hidden Temple set. That game show.
Yeah, it looks very, very fake.
I fucking wanted to be on so bad.
Yeah.
Silver
I did
Snakes.
Too. I think every kid from our generation wanted to be on.
Kid, make it now. I would be there.
Absolutely.
100%. Olmec, fucking quiz me.
Out of all the shit we're rebooting, why not the shit we liked?
Adult game shows, reboots of Nickelodeon game shows for adults now.
And you know what? The only people that can compete on it now are the ones who were children when it was originally running.
Yes.
Everybody who's
kids allowed.
40 plus only.
Let me climb the aggro crag, god damn it. So no, I mean, okay, yeah, they go in this temple. This is a very quippy movie.
This is a type of set where spider webs are made of cotton balls.
Correct. Well, no, it's literally the shit from Party City. Yeah, yes. It's like the stuff that I put on the house.
They're stretched out cotton balls everywhere.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what we used to do in like school.
Yeah.
When we had to decorate the classroom for Halloween.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's the same shit. But yeah, no, they find this little guy. Everybody in this movie is so blasé about the discovery.
They find this creature. They have no idea what it is, where it came from, what the hell its motivations are, what it's capable of doing, and they just act like this thing is pet of some kind.
Get a duffel bag.
Yeah, let's just take it home with us. Let's not bring somebody here to analyze. Let's not quarantine it here in the temple where it's used to being.
Right.
Let's put it out in the real world where it would get scared.
Well, you don't know. Like, again, because this is Munchies, right? It eats all the time. I really expected it to grow larger over time until it's like something they can't handle. That doesn't happen.
No, it doesn't.
Instead, you get the broomsticks from Fantasia. You know, where if you cut it in half,
you're right. So that's the catch here is like
they're not particularly munchy though.
No, if you hurt these things, if you kill them, if you cut them in half, they will just make multiple ones.
So easy to cut them in half.
And it doesn't seem to have any kind of like rhyme or reason because one of them gets cut in half and turns into 3, but another one gets his head cut off and turns into 7. So
it's the number of pieces that it gets chopped into.
Is it though?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know.
I don't know.
But
there were numerous times watching this movie that I would say something and you'd look over and be like, "You're thinking."
Yeah,
I'm like,
yes, you're thinking. Stop thinking.
I can't. It's my curse. I don't know. That being said, the costumes in this movie, there's several like people like Robert Picardo jump scare out of nowhere with the fucking ice cream.
Yeah, yes, Robert Picardo is in this movie. I think that my prediction for the podcast, Robert Picardo is going to go down as the person who's been in the most movies we have talked about on this show. Oh yeah, he's already been in like 2 others.
Has he?
He was in Motorama.
I wasn't on that
something
episode.
Else.
Thank you.
Yeah. But Robert Picardo is definitely going to make a lot of appearances on this show.
Because he's in so much shit. It's like, but things that
he never turned down a role. He had to say yes to everything.
Like I mentioned again when we were watching the movie, but he's Meg from Legend, the Tom Cruise movie where Tom Cruise plays Jack the Forest Boy. One of my favorite, and Tim Curry is Darkness. One of my favorite like fantasy movies of all time. He's Meg, the Swamp Hag. Like, how?
He also looks bad with hair.
I know you.
I don't like him with hair.
You just like him as the Doctor from Star Trek.
Yes, I like a nice bald Robert Picardo. he somehow has more dignity. Bald.
He is very dignified. Well, yeah. Do you think he was channeling Patrick Stewart? As
Maybe.
far as like dignified baldman and Star
I don't know,
Trek?
but I don't like seeing him with hair because every time he's in a movie with hair, they always like dye it jet black, which is off-putting to me.
Are you sure that wasn't just his hair?
I'm sure. I'm positive his hair was not that black. That is dye.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of people in this movie, most of whom you've never heard of, but he just absolutely came out of nowhere, and I was like, whoa, what the fuck? Yep. So the basic plot of this movie, of course, they take the creature, they give him some candy. The creature can speak Spanish and then also English.
Learns fast.
It knew what milk duds were before they said anything.
They mentioned in the opening scene that this thing learns fast. How they know, I don't know, because they have no research on this creature at all, and they seem to know everything about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the thing, is that if you say one English word to it, it just knows English.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's a ridiculous movie.
Because they gave it a candy bar, and it was like, ooh, milk duds.
Yeah.
But in that, like, it's Frank Welker.
Yeah, Frank Welker, of course, voicing this thing, which he was also GIZMO.
And it just sounds like GIZMO. So much of the time, it sounds like GIZMO. The little...
There are references to Gremlins throughout this movie. One of the main characters drives an American Motors Gremlin.
Yes.
With vanity plates that say GIZMO.
Oh, GIZMO.
Yeah. There are people reading newspapers that have references to gremlins running amok in their town.
So do you think this is intended to take place in the same universe?
I think it wants to.
I think it does.
I think it wanted the money Gremlins made.
I don't know how they got away with some of that stuff. Like, wouldn't
it was the 80s, baby?
I guess.
Shit was wild back then. We did what the fuck we wanted.
And knowing exactly what that line is and being able to, like, write it.
Yeah.
Between copyright infringement and parody.
Sure. I mean,
because this is definite parody of like everything under the sun. I do have to say Harvey Korman is clearly loving his, because he plays two roles. He plays the dad, and then he plays Paul's father, and then he plays
his
Cecil
twin brother,
Waterman. Cecil. Uncle Cecil.
He's just a cartoon villain.
Correct. Yes. The worst toupee.
His entire existence in this film is to be as like classic villain as possible, right?
Yes.
He owns every company. He owns every like business in town.
And they're all shady.
He's making food that is made of toxic chemicals on purpose.
Yes, he has numerous commercials talking about how the good of America and the children need to grow up big and strong. So eat these cow snacks. But
he's a local celebrity.
Waste.
Every time they turn on the TV, there's a commercial that's pushing one of his products.
It's like if the 12-12 Loop 12 guy was evil.
Absolutely. But
and if y'all don't know what that is, just go on YouTube and look up 12-12 Loop 12 guy. It's a local thing from Texas.
Yeah, he was a local Texas hero back in the day.
Hero. Or Jim Adler. There you go. The Texas Hammer. Anyways.
Yeah, there's definitely Jim Adler.
He makes me think of what's his fucking name from Raising Arizona. It's the same type of character that, like, unpainted Arizona.
Yeah, he's just like this guy existed in the 80s. Back in the 50s, he would have been a traveling salesman.
Right, very snake oil salesman. Very Elvis loving.
Yeah, his house.
Suits.
His house looks like Pee-wee's Playhouse.
He's married to Melvis.
Melvis, who is my favorite character in this show.
She's such a floozy. She's the not Carol Kane, because Carol Kane could have totally. But although the actress absolutely kills it, like she's ridiculous.
she was definitely like there was a lot of people having fun in this movie.
No,
like you could tell.
And when that comes through, it really does allow me to like overlook a lot of the ridiculous. I had to approach this as, oh my god, this is ridiculous, because like the puppetry when Arnold like is on the pool table, right? When he and Dude start fighting.
Right.
It is, they set him up in the corner pocket of the pool table so the puppeteer can like put his hand up there. Like,
that's a low budget move though. That is a very low budget move.
But like they don't even try and hide it.
No.
Really.
You almost expect to see the arm of the guy holding the puppet. And it's just so badly done.
So much of this makes no sense.
Also, like, all the sets look dirty.
They do. Well, it does take place in a Texas desert.
You know, when you're shooting a movie, one of the things that you want to do is make sure that, like, the people involved in the sets and things come in and clean things off.
Right.
Get the dust off of shit. Maybe mop the floors a little bit, whatever, to make this thing look cleaner. And they did none of that here. So there's just, like... There's footprints all over the floors. There's dust on everything.
I thought maybe intentional though, or at least they overlooked it because, I mean, it does take place in a desert. Like it's like West Texas.
I think it was just
style.
They didn't have a high enough budget and they had a very short time period to film this in. Apparently you said they filmed it in 12 days?
Yep.
So I don't think that had anything to do. I think it was just didn't have time.
I have some information pulled up, and one of the related questions, because I Googled Munchies movie, right? Mm-hmm. One of the related questions is Munchies a good movie? And when you click on that, it says the top critic review on Rotten Tomatoes is Munchies is a film that should never have been made. In fact, no one should have even thought of making it. And actually, I don't agree. Is it bad? Absolutely.
Is it important? No.
No.
Is it winning awards? Absolutely not.
But parts of it are really fucking funny. And part of it is just watching the enjoyment of these actors and actresses really get into these ridiculous roles. Because Melvis, like I said when we were watching it, could absolutely be a John Waters character.
Yeah.
Like across the board.
Yeah, I think I mentioned that she would fit right in Pink Flamingos.
Right.
Like...
She's already dressed for it.
Yes.
Dude, she and Divine on the town.
This is absolutely a John Waters character.
Yes. And the house that they live in is very much a combination of Pee-wee's Playhouse. You said that you brought up the Simpsons house, which is very accurate. Yeah.
There's some elements of the Simpsons home here. But it's kind of over-exaggerated too. Like it's...
For sure.
It's...
Well, it's
a
a
caricature
Robert
of
Korman movie.
what a wild, wacky home would be.
It's intended to be...
Kitsch.
Yes.
That's what this is.
It's intended to be a parody of everything that it is. This is not a movie that takes itself seriously at all. It knows exactly what it is and it leans into it.
Right. And it definitely wants that Gremlins audience, that Police Academy audience, and the money, of course.
For sure. There's just a lot of weird shit in this movie. You know, the inflatable hammer. Dude as a character. We haven't really talked about Dude, but he does play a role. He is Cecil's stepson and Melvis's adopted son. They call him a hippie. He's like a deadhead, but he talks like, I guess he does kind of talk.
He kind of looks like a biker
man.
Dude wearing a Grateful Dead shirt.
Yes.
And he's all he wants to do in life.
He wants to go to the tie-dye and hacky sack festival.
Yes.
Man.
He wants to sit in his chair and listen to his headphones. And then just have his
and Cecil is so casual.
Stepdad give him money. And at one point he asked Cecil if he could give him $500 for the weekend.
Yeah, for the tie-dye and hacky sack festival. Yeah.
In 1987, that's what? That's got to be over $1,000
well, dude, if
today.
our child came in here, well, I mean, our child works, which Dude does not. But can I have $500? Fucking.
Yeah, I wouldn't give away $500 today.
For what?
To go to a hacky sack convention? What the fuck are you buying at a hacky sack convention for $500? Okay, well.
That's that. But Dude, sadly, never makes it to that festival. He is now put in charge of okay, so anyways, they bring the creature home and whatever. It doesn't. Hilarity ensues, right? Like, he's told to watch the creature. Paul is told to watch the creature, who they name Arnold. He gives him like a nudie mag and then goes upstairs to have sex with his girlfriend. And then Cecil comes in.
Very strange sex.
Cecil's listening. He's got the house bugged through an Elvis statue and of his twin brother because he's, trying to... Like, everybody is... Obviously, Cecil is the louder, more ridiculous twin. But Simon, Paul's dad... is every bit as ridiculous in his own way. I mean, he travels the world. Where does he get this money? It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
To looking for aliens.
Especially since, like, in his whole deal, like, he wants to find an alien so that he can write a book and sell it and make money. That's his whole thing, is like, he needs money.
Yeah.
He could travel the world.
He says a line at one point. He's like, then I'll get a publisher and then we'll be set.
Yeah.
And I realize I might not be part of the big five, but I'm here to tell you right now, getting a publisher does not mean you're set. Even if you are part of the big five, I'm not getting into the publishing industry and how it really is, especially trad publishing is very stacked against unknown authors, but okay, sure.
Right.
So, but Simon's fucking weird in his own way too. You know, so what is this family? I don't know. If I was the girlfriend, I would not be.
Where's the mother? She dead? They don't reference the mom at all.
She doesn't matter.
Yeah, well.
Quit living in the past.
So now they have this creature in the home.
Yeah.
Paul is now tasked with watching it while Simon
goes to the university. He wants to watch a lecture and talk to this guy who basically be like, hey, I've got this alien. Give me money. Yeah, no, so Cecil ropes dude into like, hey, we're going to go steal this thing. I don't know what it is, but my brother has it and it sounds weird, so I'm going to take it.
Yeah, because he's been listening to their conversations.
Yeah.
When they come home, he's got like this telescope that he's looking at them through. His entire... Why he's spying on them like this, I don't know.
I really think it's just to fuck with his brother.
He's trying to get the land that his brother owns.
Land. Yes, but that's mentioned like once at the beginning and like really never again because they live next to each other and he wants the land.
Because he walks over there as the father is leaving, as Simon is leaving to go to his lecture. Cecil walks over there with like paperwork for Simon to sign to give him
because Simon
his
agreed
land.
To sell the land if he didn't have X amount of money or whatever by a certain point.
Okay.
Or maybe it was if he didn't find an alien on this last trip. I've seen the movie twice, and the plot matters so little that, like...
Hey, brother, if I don't come back with an alien, I'll give you my land?
That's how secure in himself Simon was.
Okay.
And to be fair, he did find... Maybe not... Is it an alien, though?
They're not aliens. They're like
tulpas brought to life through lightning.
Yeah, we find out that these things, okay, Peru is just a dumping ground for alien toxic waste.
Yes.
That's what it is.
Yep.
So it was this toxic waste was dumped in a temple in
the toxic waste
Peru.
Dump of the gods, and I'm like, oh my god.
And we're led to believe, I guess, that these creatures like are some kind of product of that.
Well, I think it's kind of like the ooze, right? They made the Ninja Turtles. It's just a different activation, Whereas with the Ninja Turtles, they were regular little turtles that like wandered into the ooze. Here, the ooze is there and lightning strikes and it creates these creatures.
Right. These creatures are actually like Peruvian statues.
Right.
That are mixed. They get in contact with alien toxic waste and get hit by lightning.
Never mind. There's a very similar thing that happened, but I realized it's from the Ralph Bakshi movie Wizards, and it's a really obscure reference that I'm not going to go into. But there was a statue that was brought to life by magic, and then lightning stuck it back, and it was going after Eleanor.
Okay, well they probably ripped that off too.
Whatever. Anyways, that just occurred.
But that's what these creatures are. They're statues. They're hit by lightning mixed with toxic waste, and they become little like gremlin critter gooey creatures.
Yes, who just want to bang.
Well, they just
want to look at pretty ladies.
They didn't want to bang until he handed him the fucking magazine.
Well, that's the thing. Humanity determined what these creatures are.
They become the worst of humanity, right?
Immediately.
They are just vice.
Junk food.
Yes, they are smoking, they are cussing, they are overeating, they are horny as hell.
They're running people off the road.
Yes.
My favorite character is the little old lady who gets in like a chicken like situation with them in her car, and she's like, I'm not backing down from no American Motors car.
Right.
I like her.
But
yeah, no,
Cecil
immediately
Cecil now wants to kidnap this thing. Because he gets the help from his stepson, dude.
Yeah, man.
And they're going over there because, again, dude wanted money. Now he's going to, I guess, pay him to come help him.
He didn't say that, though. He just...
No, he wrapped a phone cord or a headphone cord around his neck.
Multiple times.
And threatened to kill him if you don't help me.
And dude, barely reacted. He is so clearly used to this casual abuse.
Yes, this is stepson abuse.
He slaps dude in the face multiple times. He knees him in the balls.
Yeah, he calls him a waste of time, waste of skin, waste of everything. He says he has no ambition in life. He's never going to amount to anything. So come fucking help me or else I will shoot you in the face.
I wonder why he doesn't feel like he could be anything. No idea where he would have gotten that idea.
Right.
Okay, sure. Yeah, so they steal Arnold, whatever, and Cecil's like, hey, I gotta go pick up your mom at the bus station. You watch this thing or I'll fucking kill you, basically.
Yeah.
And that leads to the showdown because dude, in true abused person fashion, immediately turns into a bully towards Arnold.
Yeah.
Like the moment Cecil walks out
he's
the door,
flicking him in the head,
slapping him around, of the head, and he's like, yeah,
treating him with no respect.
Yeah. Immediately.
Which again, you don't know what this creature is, what it's capable of, and you're just gonna fucking piss it off.
Well, and still nobody is like, holy fucking shit, that's an alien.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
What the hell is this thing?
No one reacts to this thing at all in any way other than it must be a cat.
Well, yeah,
or it must
like,
be
are you sure that's a cat? And the girl in the lake is like, piranha! But then she calls him a creep. And they're like, is this your friend? And at one point, Paul's like, oh, they're tourists from Nevada. So like, what?
Right.
Oh, okay.
So this thing, Arnold, immediately gets pissed off at dude for fucking with him.
Valid.
Yes, valid. And now he is gonna kill him.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what he does.
Like it's like Arnold's like throwing fondue forks. Dude goes for the gun cabinet so fast.
Well, Arnold is just being Arnold, right? He's being curious. And he's
reacting in kind.
He's messing with his Grateful Dead records.
Yeah.
So now,
I like when he just
now dude has to kill him.
Just slides across the floor.
Yeah,
all the way.
Like it's a skateboard or something. So now dude is pissed off because he's fucking with his records, which are like his most prized possession in the world.
All right.
And he grabs a pull stick to beat the shit out of him with. Yeah. And Arnold fights back.
And bites it in half.
And scratches him, bites him, whatever. And dude ends up cutting him in half.
Yeah.
And that's where we find out that when you cut these things in half, you get multiple ones. They even like bubble up like Gremlins did.
They do, but it's just straight out of Fantasia. If you've seen, everyone's seen, I would think. Most people have seen when Mickey's the wizard. It's the Sorcerer's Apprentice.
Yeah, and anytime one of these Munchies are on screen, you get that music that sounds like the Fantasia music.
Yeah, yes.
It's ripping that off too.
I also think of The Simpsons, obviously. The Itchy and Scratchy episode.
Oh, Scratch-tasia?
Yeah. Yeah. There's a fish tank involved.
Yeah, Cecil has a fish tank that he really needs to fucking clean because nobody who has fish and loves his fish as much as this guy does would have a fish tank in that condition.
It is it's terrible.
Yeah, it's
They were
gross.
gonna die anyways.
Yeah.
But I just bring that up because once Arnold ends up killing dude, kind of off screen, you don't really see what happened. He's just dead because he's dead in the chair facing the corner.
Right, so
it's like a fight or whatever. And then they multiply, and then it goes to Paul and his girlfriend like coming outside yelling at each other about how Arnold's gone.
First of all, this couple just got through having sex and they're already yelling at each other.
They really have a good future. The girlfriend was also in Critters.
Oh my God. Of course she was.
She was.
So yeah, they're arguing because now Arnold is lost. Which, by the way, before they even had sex, Arnold comes into the room. Mm-hmm. So they already know that Arnold is.
Yes, because he like feels her up because she's like, oh, I got filled up by something.
So they already know that Arnold is out of the bag. He's running around the house. They need to keep an eye on this thing, and they don't.
Well, yeah, because the whole thing was Simon, his dad, before he left, was like, "Hey, you're a betting man. I'll make you a wager. Like Like basically, if you watch him for a day, you can be a stand-up comedian.
Yeah, if you do what I tell you and you succeed, I will let you be a stand-up comedian, even though you are an adult and you can make your own decisions in life.
Yeah.
So that's the deal.
And if not, you're going to community college.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you're getting a real job and making something of yourself.
Yes.
So they have now lost track of Arnold. Arnold is out and about. He is now been kidnapped by Dude and Cecil, and he has now multiplied. So now there are 3, I believe.
Yeah, there's 4. 4.
There's 4 Munchies now.
The point is now there's multiple Munchies. They steal dude's car.
This is 4th of July, by the way.
It is 4th of July. Why? I don't know.
It's lots of things, right? It's 4th of July. It's the day that they found alien life. It's the same night that Cecil is opening a golf course.
That Golfland's reopening, all right.
A miniature golf course.
Big deal.
Yeah. And it's also the day that their stepson was murdered.
Correct. Although that
a lot of shit's happening in this one day.
No one. Well, I guess Melvis kind of cares. She's like, "Oh, my poor little dude."
Yeah, it becomes this thing where like no one reacts to anything in this movie like they should. This alien creature, no one's reacting to. Correct. The fact that a main character in this movie has now been murdered by one of them, no one gives a shit.
No.
They just move on with their day as if they're...
like the cop, little Eddie, is most excited that it's his first murder case when he finds out about it,
Yeah, he gets fucking absolutely gleeful.
Hell yeah, murder!
To get on a murder case.
I mean, Melvis is kind of upset, but obviously Cecil's more upset that his fish are dead, and that his house has been trashed.
Yeah, he does not give a shit. I mean, he was going to kill him anyway.
Probably, yeah. Well, see, you'd think he'd be more upset that he didn't get to do it, though.
Yeah, he was at least willing to.
He would have made him into dude snacks. Waste not, want not, okay? So they're on the loose, there's a whole bunch of car chases and then the Robert Picardo jump scare shows up. Like he and his family own an ice cream shop.
Yeah, this becomes a road trip movie.
It very much is.
The Munchies, they steal dude's car, which I mentioned earlier is a gremlin.
Dude, where's your car?
Yeah, dude, where's your car?
Yay.
Oh, fuck. So now they're on the road. They got one of them steering the steering wheel.
Yeah. We do
a couple of them working the gas pedal and the brake pedal.
Yeah. We do need to mention how they're all wearing dude's clothes but shrunk down.
Yeah. Because
at first
Melvis mentions later on in the movie that they're all wearing dude's clothes.
Because the first time I didn't get that. And so, they've got the tiny little like green sunglasses on their foreheads. Like teeny, but like sized for them. We haven't even said the Munchies are like the size of a doll, right? Like a Cabbage Patch doll or something. They're relatively
anybody
small.
Our age will remember these things from when we were kids. They were like neon colored sunglass pins that you would clip onto 100%. Your shirt.
And they've got and one of them has a black guy voice. The other one's Hispanic. Like they all have different accents.
They're very
and
diverse.
Stuff now. Yes, they are. They all look exactly the same. Slightly different. Really bad hair. Oh man, the puppet work on this. Sometimes they are clearly so many different puppets because like when it's just Arnold, sometimes his face when you see it close up is really detailed and good, and sometimes but it's like once he turns into 4, it's all garbage. Like they are like.
Yeah, they put a lot of work into one of these puppets and then found out we got to make more of these and this is very time consuming.
Except like there's only one for like 10 minutes of the movie and the rest of them there's at least 4.
Yeah.
So like whatever. But yeah, no, they attack girls at a lake. They go to the ice cream shop. Robert Picardo gets what even is his name? His name's Bob because he's married to Marge.
Bob and Marge.
Yeah. And then their son, Buddy Holly.
Buddy Holly is their son, yeah. Marge is played by Wendy Shaw, who has been in lots of things, but most recently, I think people would recognize her as the voice of Francine in American Dad.
Right.
She's having fun in this movie.
Like, it's ridiculous, man.
But yeah, Robert Picardo gets attacked by these things. They bite him, and it's more of that wackiness from this type of movie.
Paul and the girlfriend show up, end up helping take him to Redcoat Realty and Clinic for medical care.
Yeah, because he gets bit and he passes out.
He passes out so many times. There's a lot of fainting in this movie.
A lot of fainting, yeah, for sure.
Because Eddie, or Sport, or whatever the fucking deputy's name is, because his dad's Big Ed and he's in charge of the...
Yeah, he runs into a wall and then faints.
It is the worst. Hands hit wall to make noise, fall over, dead out. Like unconscious as shit.
At this point, they recognize that dude's car is gone, so these Munchies must have taken it. So now they're in Cindy's car.
Yeah, the girlfriend.
Going after him.
Yeah, and she has a cabriolet, which I used to like.
And they meet up. The Munchies managed to find their way to this ice cream shop run by Robert Picardo and his wife.
Yeah.
And they attack Robert Picardo.
Yeah. It's the
Then they
they're
get back in their
always
car,
one
take off.
step behind. It's the same thing with the
Yes.
girls at the lake. The girls think that they're piranhas. They recognize dude's car, and there's this weird exposition of like, oh, well, he's friends with Denise. Oh, you mean the Denise, the sister of Blah, who
Yes.
works at Western Beefland? And you're like, what does this have to do?
Yes, they're delivering all of this lore to you.
Doesn't matter.
In a very ham-fisted way. But so yeah, by the time they get to the ice cream shop, the Munchies are already gone, but they give Robert Picardo a ride to the
Redcoat
hospital.
Realty and Clinic.
And they mentioned that this happens to him a lot.
Yeah, he was attacked by a grizzly in Yellowstone.
Mm.
I mean, yeah, because Marge is really blasé about it too. Again, with not reacting properly, she was like, "All right, honey, do you want clamps or stitches this time?"
Yeah,
you know, and yeah,
they're very accustomed to this way of life where he just gets attacked by weird things.
Yeah,
and has to go to the emergency
this
room.
movie, man. I know at one point, Cecil and Melvis, like Big Ed has come back because he was at like a riot gear convention or something. The cop.
Deputy Eddie's dad is gone, and he's taken his place, and he's just the most inept thing. But then his father involved. Cop is like even more dumber than he is.
Doofy.
And
yes.
he's not getting respect from anybody in this town.
No, well, Cecil basically says like, "I own you." Yeah, like I own the police, I own all the businesses. I own Videoland. But yeah, no, because at one point they're like, there's this whole weird side plot about them being hungry. And, you know, and Big Ed's like, if you don't get some food in this woman soon, like, I won't be held responsible. And she's like, pizza gives me gas. And I'm like, what is going on? They go to Western Beefland that is entirely staffed by little people for reasons.
Yeah, because you're supposed to be laughing at them.
Oh, haha.
Yeah.
But then the manager, the guy in charge, is not a little person.
So now we're on to Golfland.
Yeah. Yeah, so we had mentioned it briefly earlier. Like, that's the thing that Cecil and
the grand
Melvis,
opening.
It's the grand reopening of Golfland. Yet another thing that he fucking
that they decided to do at 9 p.m.
Correct.
For some reason.
Yeah, well, yeah, because like they're in the house dealing with the cops. Dude's body still has not been removed.
Yeah, no one took the body out of the house.
No one cares. Dead, gone, who cares? It's dude, apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she's
because
like,
this is all the same day.
Yes.
This is the day that dude was killed earlier that day.
Yes.
They came home.
Yeah.
Found him dead.
Yeah.
This is now later in the evening when they have to go to a ribbon cutting ceremony
on
for
4th
his
of
new
July.
On 4th of July,
Yeah.
which the entire town shows up for.
Yes.
Because no one has 4th of July plans.
No one's got it. And there's
this
like
is the town,
7 people in this town.
Yeah, no one's hanging out with family.
Sweetwater,
No
Texas.
one's got something else to do at the lake.
No.
Everybody in this town is coming to the ceremony for a miniature golf course.
Correct.
Because it's the talk of the fucking town.
What's wrong with that?
Everything.
But no, because like it's daylight when they go into the house, they find dude.
Yeah.
And 2 seconds later,
they're saying it's 9 o'clock.
It's 9 o'clock.
We got to get out of here.
I was like, AM or PM. This is the same day that Simon and Paul come home from Peru.
Yes, this is the exact everything that
Aside
takes
from
place
the
in this
opening
movie
scene
takes
happens
place in one day.
This is
One
an exhausting day.
Yes.
Full of hijinks and car chases and whatnot. But yeah, anyways, they've got to get to Golfland for the ribbon cutting ceremony. Yep. And, you know.
And guess who's at Golfland?
Who?
The Munchies.
No way.
And they've got a sign outside giving you the rules of this place, right?
Right.
No swearing, no smoking, no fighting, no swimming.
No swimming.
And if you think that these Munchies are going to follow your fucking rules,
yeah,
you're out of your goddamn mind.
Oh, yeah, no.
Because these things immediately start cussing, smoking, swimming, fishing, fighting. Yeah. Everything they were told not to do.
Oh, my God.
They are doing.
Yeah.
And they don't give a fuck.
There's little pirate ones. They've got swords.
And they all look ridiculous doing this shit.
It's so bad.
You can tell that these
really
are
funny.
absolutely fucking puppets.
Yes. They don't even try and hide it. And I kind of like that.
One of them's got balloons attached to him.
Yes.
And the other one's shooting at it with a bow and arrow.
But it's like the suction cup arrows.
Yes. Which wouldn't pop a balloon anyway. But
yeah.
This scene is ridiculous. Especially the one that's like smoking. That one gets me. I don't know what it is because it's a regular sized cigarette that this tiny puppet
big.
is.
The tiny puppet.
But so we've got this ceremony happening. Everybody, first of all, you've got Cecil is on a stage giving his announcement with Melvis to the town. But there's already people kind of golfing.
Yeah, it doesn't really make sense. And then there's those two teenagers. One of them, like, obviously at the front of the crowd, hands a screwdriver to the other one, and he like slips.
Yeah, you got a couple of teenagers that their entire
hoodlums.
Yeah, their entire goal here is to break into a snack machine. And
one of the Cal Snacks vending machines.
Yeah.
Why? I don't know, because he gets bit by a munchie, so we'll never find out.
It's called padding. Because this movie is only like an hour and
it's like an hour
23 minutes or something.
Something like that.
Yeah, they needed a lot of padding for this to stretch it that far. You've got the family of Robert Picardo, who was just attacked by a munchie.
Yes.
Not 4 hours ago.
Yeah, he just went in for like.
Is now at this ceremony with his family to play miniature golf.
Still in their ice cream uniforms.
Yeah. And gets immediately attacked by another munchie.
But no, like legit shout out to the ice cream cone hats. Because they stay on no matter what. They're
still wearing their
multiple munchie attacks, the back of
uniform.
a convertible. Like, yes.
Which is wild.
Mini golfing, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Those are staying on. And
it's like if you could imagine someone who sells ice cream in a Pee-wee's Playhouse reality.
Well, it's like at the burger restaurant with the little people. They've got French fry like things
name
as
tags.
pockets.
Yeah.
And it's got huge fries like coming up out of it.
Yeah.
And it is Burgerland because it says BL on it, which to me means something else. In like the manga community means boy love.
Oh.
So that's an entirely different thing.
I would imagine.
Anyways.
But yeah, we've got Robert Picardo and his family are there playing golf.
Buddy Holly gets attacked. Sees one and he's like, "Oh, Dad, no!" And he's like, "I'm gonna line up my shot."
First of all, Buddy Holly is trying to warn them that these things are bad.
Correct.
Why wouldn't they believe him? He was just attacked by one earlier.
Correct. Well, because he's gonna make par, okay?
Yeah, that's right. He's really focused on his miniature golf game.
It's that kind of game. It's that kind of movie where, no. You've seen it.
So now these things are running amok.
Right.
Everybody here is now aware that munchies exist.
No one cares, really.
And they're trying to kill them.
Yeah.
And
because Paul and Cindy show up and he's like, you can't cut them up.
Yeah, don't hurt them. Don't cut them in half. You'll be dealing with more of these things.
Shut your mouth.
So that's exactly what Cecil does. He grabs some hedge clippers from somewhere.
Yeah.
And just
cuts them up.
Cuts one of them, and it turns into more, of course. Now they're dealing with more munchies.
Of course. Yeah. And so, they try and I don't remember exactly like what breaks everything up.
Between the miniature golf course and going to the video store?
Golfland? Yeah.
Well, I think that there's enough munchies now. Some of them are at the miniature golf course. Some of them are in other areas of the town.
Yes, but I just remember because Paul and Cindy, he's like, hey, I need to go home and read that book by that archaeologist guy to see if we can figure out how to defeat them. We don't know how to defeat them.
Right.
And clearly cutting it up, no one's listening. We don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Let's go read a book.
They go back to his place.
Yeah.
And the book tells them that they have to use the fire of the gods to defeat these things.
Yeah, so you learn a little bit more about it.
They don't know what that is. Anybody that knows the term fire of the gods, it's lightning.
Right.
Electricity.
Spoilers.
So if you hurt them, they will multiply. But if you electrocute them, they revert back to their statue form.
Yeah. Even though all of them but Arnold were never statues to begin with.
Uh-huh. Also, I would like to point out that these things, the munchies in general, were a roll of the dice. These are not creatures that archaeologists were studying. They were statues that were brought to life by alien toxic waste,
right? Because
and electricity.
Yeah, which Simon did get a little sample.
Why
of
are
at the
there
very
books
beginning of the movie
telling you what these are and how to defeat them?
You're thinking.
Yeah, I'm thinking. Anyways, I just wanted to throw that out there.
Yeah, no, I know. So Paul and Cindy are like, all right, we got to figure out what Fire of the Gods is. And they go to the video store. Why?
I think at this point, they're driving along and they note,
I think they were just driving by and saw like tapes flying out of the video store. And they're like, shit,
one of them threw like one of those like cardboard stand-up things.
Clint Eastwood.
Of Clint Eastwood. He threw it through the window.
Which
and now they got VHS
but okay.
cassettes that they're throwing out of the windows.
Yeah.
So
Well,
that caught their attention.
And this happens more than once in the movie where they did it with golf balls at Golfland and now VHS tapes here where they are just lightly tossing and everyone's reacting as though they're fucking bullets or something.
As if it's going to hurt them.
As if they are the bullet machine.
And I mentioned watching this thing, I was like, watch how fast I would walk up and grab one of these things. None of these things are any kind of a threat.
See, that's my issue with a lot of things, even like Chucky and stuff like that. I'm like, guys, it's a fucking doll. What?
Yes.
Okay.
Fuck around and see how hard I can kick you. Because that's exactly what I would do with these things. Every time I watch a movie like this, it pisses me off because people are acting as if these things are some kind of a threat.
Right.
Which they aren't.
Well, these in particular are no kind of threat.
They're just all they do is just pick up whatever random object happens to be next to you and throw it at you.
Bite.
Yes.
Well, I guess one did grow longer claws and scratch a dude during their fight. But he acted as though he was like
so his reaction was not what an actual person would react to.
Dude, that fondue fork in his thigh like really fucked him up. He couldn't walk after that.
He couldn't walk.
Like,
yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, anytime somebody gets lightly stabbed by something, they just act like they can't fucking walk.
To go, man, and chop him up and then return to his music.
Yes.
He wrapped a dish towel or something around his hand. He's fine.
Yep. Left him on the counter.
That is the level of whatever in this movie. Like, people are having fun, but God, if you try and think about it too much.
So something we learn here is that every one of these businesses that is owned by Cecil has a trap door.
Yes.
That leads to a straight up like wooden ladder that leads into a cave.
Yeah,
like
an underground mining system but it isn't explicitly stated that he owns Videoland. That's a supposition on our part because it ends in land and everything he fucking owns ends in land. But otherwise, why the fuck would there be a trap door? That just goes straight down.
I don't know.
Yeah, it all goes to this underground factory,
It's also where he's keeping the toxic waste because Cecil, he mentions earlier in the movie.
There's convenient, brightly colored barrels like just lining the walls this entire time.
Yeah, he's telling Melvis that there's no difference between the snack foods that we eat as a nation and toxic waste. It's all the same shit. I make my snacks out of toxic waste and I treat them with my special like neutralizing mix.
But they don't ever go into that,
so
which
it doesn't
is just
harm
you, right? Which is that it? See, and these are questions that I would like answered. Is that true? Like, is it actually true? It's never made clear. We don't see people like becoming mutants from eating the cow snacks or whatever. So
no,
maybe
and the entire town is eating them.
And all he's saying, when he brings it up is, trade secrets.
Yeah.
Okay. But I do need to talk about briefly the layout of this underground factory situation. I said it looks exactly like what you see when you're standing in line for Yosemite Sam's Gold Rush adventure at Six Flags over Texas. There are boxes with huge Acme Looney Tunes style.
Just labeled TNT, toxic.
Yeah, huge spray painted on, like on the sides of boxes.
It very much gives you the feeling of
nothing is organized.
A realistic
There's wine
Looney
with
Tunes
squeezed
cartoon.
Cheese with this, with that, just all tumbled together.
Yeah, and it is a ridiculous set.
Yeah, I like it though. I think it's funny.
Yeah, I mean, is
it good? No, but now I want to go to Six Flags. Low budget
is what it is.
I want to go to Six Flags now.
Have fun. I hate that fucking place.
I know. I didn't say I want to go with you. But yeah,
you know me well enough to know that I'm probably never going to go to Six Flags.
No, it's not your thing, and I totally understand. But I might go to a holiday in the park with the kiddo if the kiddo wants to go. Anyways, yes. So I don't know. It's this whole thing. Cecil and Melvis and the cop, Big Ed, are one group of whatevers, and then you've got Paul and Cindy and Eddie, the deputy. They're going through the tunnels. Eddie ends up with a tarantula on his shoulder at some point for reasons. This is where he runs into the wall and knocks himself out. He's also in love with Cindy, so the whole time he's like trying to act all big macho.
Right.
And up until this point, like earlier in the movie when he pulled her over.
Also, nothing in this world is sexier to a woman than a cop that keeps fucking with them and giving them tickets.
Correct. Well, yeah, no, he said a line like early in the movie where not to her, but after she drove off, is something along the lines of, if she wasn't so cute, I'd mace her.
Yeah, right.
What?
Yeah.
But
this
no.
is very much one of those things where it's like, if you just date me, I will leave you the fuck alone.
Yeah. Well, and it's like I told you when we were watching it, it's like a first grade boy approach to flirting.
Yeah.
It's the pulling the pigtails.
I'm going to fuck with you until you like me.
Yeah. Not effective as adults.
No, not at all.
Just saying. Fuck you. So, yeah, so she's always really treated him like shit, but now they need him on their side. So, you know, she starts like really flirting with him. And he, of course, is too stupid, so he falls for it. And
right.
blah, 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 blah. He gets knocked out, so now they're just on their own. And like she gets stuck in this janitor closet situation.
Yeah. Yeah, she gets...
It's this great door, like all doors should be, where it's got this little wood piece on there that automatically falls and locks closed when you walk in to this tiny closet.
Anybody that walks into this place is going to get locked inside. That's a great design. But
so, you know, it's
yeah, she's trapped in the janitor closet now.
She is. I do like that you can see the molds for the... And
she's not only locked in this closet, but she's got like 3 of these munchies that are horned up for her, like coming to sexually assault her.
Correct.
That's what their plan here is.
She treats them like she should and just kicks them. Because that's what you should do.
She thinks she's safe from them, and like one of them starts biting a hole through the wall.
Yeah. They're really horned up.
And starts talking French to her, like that's supposed to be sexy.
Correct.
Yeah, and he's determined to get in there and rape this woman.
I know one of them calls Cecil a honky at Golfland. I noticed this time, because this time we watched it with subtitles on or captions or whatever. Yeah. And because, okay, this movie is on YouTube. It's free on YouTube, but the volume is so goddamn low. Yeah. We had to turn it up so high and still have captions on. But yeah, I don't know. They're so disrespectful towards everyone. But yeah, so and Paul is going through, why is there, it's a TV. That's why at Videoland, they kick one of them into the fucking TV at Videoland and it gets electrified and turns into a statue. That was the purpose of Videoland. I knew we'd get there in time.
Okay.
We know things.
Yeah, while they're at Videoland, yes, Paul kicks one of them into a TV.
Right. So he goes in knowing that electricity turns them into statues.
Right.
Cool. So his whole thing down here, now that they're all throughout the factory, is he's got to find a way to electrify them all. So he gets this like big wire and like chops it. And so he's got electricity going on. So she's trapped and trying not to get raped. Cecil and Melvis and Big Ed are stuck in an elevator with the lights out. And of course, Big Ed and Melvis immediately start making out like so fast. And Cecil's like, where's the button? Like, ugh, Jesus.
Melvis,
you like Melvis.
She goes through this entire movie basically just like, somebody please fuck me.
Anybody.
That is what I need in my life right now.
Yeah. And dinner.
Yeah, I'm hungry and horny. Let's solve this fucking problem. So they are stuck on an elevator. The power goes out.
Right.
And
because he takes the cord out to get electricity.
He's unplugged the elevator.
Yes, there is one cord that goes for
everything in this mine
but there's
is
still
controlled
light.
by one plug.
There's still light. The machines are still working because the munchies are getting smashed and turned into more munchies.
You're thinking.
God damn it.
You're thinking, Jess. Stop thinking.
So maybe it is. Maybe it is just the elevator cord.
It's possible. It's very possible.
Does it matter?
Yeah, they're stuck in the elevator. Cindy's stuck in the janitor closet trying not to get assaulted by this thing.
Yes, and this is how Paul can be the leading man he was made to be.
Now Paul is the hero we need.
The not Steve Guttenberg.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he heroically goes after these things.
He does.
He winds up
tiny little puppets who throw things and bite.
Yeah, so a bunch of them are on this like conveyor belt system, and that's what he winds up touching the
exposed wire to the thing, and they got
it electrocutes all of them and turns them all into statues.
A nice, neat little row of statues all facing the same way.
And he starts breaking them.
Correct.
Because that's what you want to do.
Right.
So they don't come back.
He saves one, though.
Well, yeah, because you got to give something to the archaeologist so you can have a sequel.
I don't think he was thinking that. I think at that point he was just like, I got to show Cecil, like, dude, this is what you got to fucking do.
But you want to come back for Munchies, too.
Yeah, there wasn't one.
Yeah.
Although they really do set it up like at the very end. But yeah,
they really tried to make it look like this was going to be a franchise of some kind.
Yeah, so at one point Eddie, he was unconscious. He wakes up. He wanders past and here's his dad, and then here's Cecil, and he hits the emergency switch, lets him out of the elevator. And, there's this whole showdown. Oh, Cindy, I guess in the janitor's closet, is that where she found the little piece of paper that says there's like asbestos in the tater tots and
they find the
all
recipe.
that? Yeah, she finds like just a note that has all this shit in it.
But at the same time, they are now in a mine shaft.
Right.
That they know is owned by Cecil.
Correct.
That has toxic waste barrels everywhere.
Correct.
Labeled toxic.
And
food boxes labeled with product names.
Right.
TNT, all kinds of shit laying around.
Probably.
And they don't put this thing together until they find the recipe.
Right.
For the snacks.
Is there actual TNT, or are you just putting that Looney Tunes spin on it because you feel like there should be TNT? Yeah.
They don't question at all.
Why would you?
Their surroundings here.
What's wrong here?
It's not until they find the recipe that they're like, the toxic waste is now becoming the food.
What bothered me is that he just immediately like confronts Cecil when the only people there are on Cecil's side, because as far as he knows, the cops are still owned by Cecil. Throughout this entire movie, Big Ed has clearly done what Cecil's like, arrest this person, and he does it.
Yeah.
It seems really short-sighted and stupid of Paul to just be like, wow, in this area that is, like you just said, completely owned and controlled by Cecil.
Yeah.
This is not the place for that confrontation.
Yes, you are in his
You
world.
have no backup.
Right. You are just a guy.
Luckily, the cops are like, oh, that's bad. We'll arrest Cecil and Melvis instead. But he had no reason to think that.
Right.
What?
And he didn't even want to arrest Cecil until he found out,
he was like, you didn't tell me the poison was in the food.
Right. I was willing to go along and be your crony.
Dude, toxic waste, totally fine. Storage, like under the town I'm responsible for. Not a problem.
Mm-hmm.
But I ate those tater tots.
But
so
now I have morals.
Right. Yes.
Now I'm a cop for the people and not you.
It's fucking garbage. But yeah, of course, Paul has one statue. They save the day. And, Simon comes back. Oh, they get back home and Simon's there with the archaeologist. And he's like, hey, where's Arnold? And he's like, yeah, about that. I guess the statue, like the archaeologist is like, oh my God, I'll pay you $25,000 for this statue.
Yeah, he whips out this fucking comically oversized magnifying glass to look at the statue of Arnold.
I told you at the time, it looks like it's from Garden Ridge.
Yeah, it's fake as hell looking.
It is painted.
But also, he just offers him $25,000 on the spot to take it home with him.
No testing.
And also doesn't give him the money.
No, it is just promised, and I'm going to take this now.
Yeah, right.
And he's like, you didn't need to tell me, send me that line about aliens.
Don't you want to?
I would have come anyway.
Don't you want to have it analyzed first?
No.
Don't you want to maybe age it?
Doesn't
find
Simon
out
want to
what
get
exactly
the
it
fucking
is?
check in hand before he just gives over this piece of...
Make sure it's not something they made and painted.
Yeah. Because it clearly looks like it is.
Yeah, right.
But okay.
And as he's driving away before the credits, you get the lightning striking the truck. And
I mean, Simon, of course, he was like, oh, hey, remember that sample of whatever I took at the beginning of the movie? Yeah, it's toxic waste from aliens. And I'm going to write a book and we're good. Yeah. And then you've got the clouds rolling and the sky is purple. And
I love the line here from Paul too. He's like, oh, so Machu Picchu really is just a toxic waste dump for aliens.
God, it's so disrespectful.
What?
Yes, absolutely. And I don't know. The dad suddenly is totally cool with him moving to LA and becoming a stand-up comedian.
There really is a lot of low-key jabs at culture in this movie.
Correct. Which I do appreciate. I think it's funny. Yeah. A lot of this shit. I talked to you while we were watching the movie about the commercials and all of that, about this clearly shady, slimy fucking businessman crying on screen about how American youth deserve better. And so you should have my products when he knows damn good and well they're made of toxic waste. That type of commentary.
Right. And there's even
very present.
There's a discussion in the movie where there's one character questioning him about his capitalism and all that, and he gives there's some political shit in here that's just kind of out of nowhere that just lasts for one scene. You're like, okay, I didn't know I was getting political in this movie.
Moving on.
I guess we did.
Okay.
Want to know what communism is, guys? Watch this movie. He'll tell you all about it.
Yeah, Eddie the deputy is really weird about Ruski spies and stuff like that, and. Yeah, I don't know, whatever. But yeah, it did set it up clearly for a sequel because there's a lightning strike and then you hear a Munchie say, amigo! no. And then that, like, it, you know, the credits roll. Yeah, sorry to break it to you. This does not have a sequel. I could not find financial information about this movie.
I tried to look up and see what the budget was, what it made. IMDb
domestic,
has nothing.
internationals, worldwide. I'm on boxofficemojo.com. There's fucking nothing.
I mean, if IMDb doesn't have it, it probably doesn't exist.
Yeah, no. So who's to say? We don't know. It's not a good movie, but
I'm gonna predict
entertaining.
This. I'm going to predict the budget on this was $3 million.
You think so?
And I bet it made 20,000. That sounds right. Because here's the thing. This movie came out in 1987.
Yeah.
I wasn't very old in 1987. I probably didn't know what the fuck movies were really or anything about them. But like, I don't remember anybody talking about this movie.
Like I said, until you brought it up for this podcast, I never heard of this.
I wound up having this movie on VHS as a kid, but that wasn't until like the 90s when I saw this.
Interesting.
I had no idea what this movie was until I was already like old enough to know what movies were.
Right.
And it had already at that point been at least 5 years old.
It's weird to me that my dad didn't find this because he loved this kind of shit.
But I've never heard anybody talk about this movie.
No.
When I mention this to anybody, they have no clue what it is.
Like, I genuinely do think people should watch it, especially since it's free on YouTube.
Yeah.
It's not good, but it's so self-aware that you can get enjoyment out of it. Right. I think
it knows it's a Gremlin ripoff. It lets you know that.
Well,
it knows it's a ripoff. Yeah, it's a ripoff of all kinds of things, and they let you know. It's like, this movie is not really parodying or paying homage. It's straight up telling you, we want the audience that these movies have.
Yes. If you want to see Gremlins, like I said, Gremlins but horny.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Horny gremlins that are also like, don't give a fuck about your rules.
Rude, crude dudes.
Yeah. They are too cool for school in this movie.
Absolutely. SKOLL. Thank you.
But yeah, I
don't know, man.
Look, I have
Harvey
fondness
Korman
for
is
it.
having fun.
We're doing this movie because I recommended it. So, I mean, obviously I like it. I'm not going to recommend a movie that I don't like on this movie, on this show.
I don't know that I like it. I don't know if I dislike it, but I'm not upset that I watched it. There's enough here that it's enjoyable.
Yeah.
I think. It's not good. It's not going to be remembered in the annals of history.
It's short, sweet, to the point. It's inoffensive. It's not good. It's not great. It's not bad. It's not anything. It's something to behold. It needs to be seen to be believed.
Yes,
because this is very much
like parody movies, rip-off movies. If you like Gremlins, if you like Roger Corman, if you like Robert Picardo.
Right. And look, I will also say this. Like, this is that moment in time where movies, yes, obviously they wanted to make money in the theaters. But they were also like really interested in that home video market.
Right.
Video stores.
This is huge. This has straight to DVD all the fuck over it. I don't know if it was, but
no, it went to theaters, but that wasn't even really a big thought in their head.
Right.
What they wanted was the home video market. And I could tell you exactly why I know that, because if you look at the box art for this thing, which I'm going to use in the thumbnail for this episode.
Right.
It very much is one of those striking images that makes you want to rent a movie.
Yeah.
Based on the cover of the box.
Oh, it's like, it makes me think of like Porky's or something. Because it's like this woman in a short dress and there's a munchie. A
munchie looking up her dress.
Who doesn't exist, who looks way cooler than the goddamn puppets in the movie.
Right.
Looking up her skirt.
Yes, absolutely. But I think that they really thought, okay, if this thing doesn't do well in theaters, we can at least tackle that.
Yeah, it's got kind of a National Lampoon feel to it too, like the cover and stuff like that. It definitely is made. The box art is made to pick up and go, okay, I'm gonna. Well, not me, but if you're the type of person who like, I don't know, it's a smoke pot with your friends and laugh at stupidity type thing. To me, it seems like. Yeah,
it's definitely one of those
snacks,
guilty pleasure movies for me.
Snacks or whatever your choice is.
I'm really glad that I watched it again as an adult, because I don't remember what it was that triggered my memory on this movie. I have no fucking clue.
I don't know. It just kind of seemed to come out of nowhere.
Yeah,
you were like, oh, we should do Munchies.
Munchies, yeah.
Do what?
I recommend it. Watch it again. Like Jess mentioned, it's free on YouTube. There's no reason not to see it.
Yeah, no, some of this really does need to be seen to be believed. Like the badness.
Absolutely.
Of the quality. The puppetry is really funny. I would watch it just for the puppetry alone. It's so bad and so funny. Yeah. So, yeah.
All right. Well, with that, I guess we can call this an episode.
We can. Let's do that. You know what? Let's call this an episode.
That's an episode, guys.
Oh my God.
Where can people find you, Jess?
I am at JHLMoon on Instagram. I have a Twitter, but I don't access it, so don't bother. You can go to shadowsparkpub.com for all my publishing house, my books, my author's books. I'm also on the Shadowspark podcast. If wherever you found this podcast, it's there.
Yeah.
And we are changing things up for season 3, kind of taking a little bit from PLP in that we're going bi-weekly. We're having shorter episodes and more just kind of hangout things.
Right.
Season 2 was very writing topic focused. And we kind of just want to hang out and be friends that chat about shit we like. So that's changing. Yeah, that's me.
Right
what
on.
about you? Where can people find you, Chad?
I'm out there. I'm on
Yeah, you are.
Facebook.
You are out there.
You can find me on Facebook and Instagram at Chad J. Moon.
Mm-hmm.
You can find the podcast on Instagram as well at the Pretty Little Podcast. We have the YouTube channel, youtube.com / at the Pretty Little Podcast 69420.
Hell yeah.
Go check that out.
I do need to say can we just quickly address that new theme song? Because I don't want that to get overlooked. That was AI.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
You didn't mention that at the beginning.
Yeah, fuck that. Yeah,
that was a joke. Like, yeah.
Yeah, my condolences to Bullet Machine for that. I probably should have mentioned that to them, but don't worry about it, folks.
No.
We are not replacing that theme song. That is going to stay.
I just wanted it out there that we know it was AI. It was a gag, a gaff.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's all. Fuck AI. But I know
absolutely
it was funny. It was so bad. God, it's awful. It's awful.
Yeah.
This is why human musicians are better. Anyways, love you guys. Until next time.
Bye.